Really, in this situation, like Ben said, you get a fastball or a pitch up in the zone, but you really think about driving the ball back at the pitcher in this situation. Don't want to try to pull it. You want to hit it right back up the middle.
And he loops that one into right field. The ball game is over. The Phillies' 7-game losing streak is over. An RBI pinch hit single for Darren Ruff, and the Phils have come from behind to win it 5-4 over the Cincinnati Reds.
How big is that?
I hope you mark your calendar if you love hot dogs, because tonight is the final Hatfield Philly Frank Dollar Dog Night at Citizens Bank Park for 2015. So get here and get as many as you can as the Phils celebrate a walk-off victory against the Cincinnati Reds. Tonight it's game number 2 from South Philadelphia. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. Sit still. We're going to talk Cole Hamels in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk some offense with Matt Stairs. It worked last night when we were talking offense. So let's talk about the Phils and their come-from-behind victory last night.
Well, it's huge. And we talked about it yesterday with the keys. We needed to make more contact and Franco to chill out, relax, and have a good game. And last night it worked out. Last night in the 8th inning, you know, what you want to do, 2 outs, base hit. It's the worst nightmare right here for an outfielder. You lose the ball in the sun or the lights. Jay Bruce, you can see he's fighting it the whole way right there, just below the glove. Now all of a sudden, Franco comes up, 2-1, chilled out, hit a bomb 418 feet to left field for a huge home run to tie the game. Now all of a sudden you move into the 9th inning last night, and Herrera does a great job leading off versus the lefty, stays inside of it, hits the ball down the left field line. Why the third baseman is not guarding the line, I don't know, but Chus does a very nice job bunting the ball to third base, advancing Herrera over to third. Now all of a sudden the fastball inside, fight it off, making contact. It doesn't matter where you hit it, put the ball in play, and a lot of good things happen.
So many good things offensively for the Phils, including the extra base hits. They didn't have many during the 7-game losing streak. And the other part of it, too, the Phillies' bullpen was outstanding in last night's ball game. Well, tonight, here's hoping they don't have to use the bullpen, because Cole Hamels has the baseball, and for some reason, Ben, he has the Cincinnati Reds number.
He dominates them, and he's done it throughout his entire career, whether that be here at Citizens Bank Park or at Great American Ballpark. He just owns the Reds, and when you're feeling good about a ball club or pitching against them, hitting against them, whatever, you just feel in a very comfortable frame of mind. You go out and you take care of business, and I look for Cole to go out and do the same thing tonight and maybe ride a 2-game winning streak going into tomorrow.
Well, it's so incredible. He's 12-0, or the Phillies are 12-0. He's 9-0 in the regular season. He's also won a postseason game against the Cincinnati Reds, and again, he made his major league debut against Cincinnati, and for some reason it's carried over throughout the course of his career. Phillies hope it carries over one more time. Well, many more times, but at least one more time here tonight at Citizens Bank Park. It is game 2 of this 3-game series. He'll be opposed by Mike Leake, a very good hitter. Not so great so far on the mound. He had a rough month of May, 2-4 with an ERA of 4.66 overall. Well, last night it was the Michael Franco show offensively and defensively. We know he plays exceptional defense at third. It's nice to see him swing the bat the way he did last night. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. victory in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they've got their ace Cole Hamels on the mound. Let's take a look at the Reds lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillips, Votto, and Frazier, followed by Jay Bruce, Zach Cozart, and Chris Negron. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, will bat 7th. Mike Leake bats 8th, and batting 9th and playing center field is Billy Hamilton. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels, 5-4 on the year, 2.91 earned run average. He's averaging a little more than a strikeout per inning pitch. Matt, he's been as dominant a left-hander as you will find.
Well, it's safe to say he is in the zone right now with the strike zone, throwing a lot of strikes. And scouting report on Cole Hamels, average velo at 92.1 miles an hour. And the league is hitting a 108 versus his changeup and 139 versus his curveball.
Well, the first batter he'll face is Brandon Phillips, who's still twirling the bat as the pitch comes in. He takes outside. Phillips has 33 career at-bats against Hamels. He's 5 for 33 against him. He's been struck out 10 times. And he rips the first one, or his first swing, at Cody Ashe, and there's one out.
Cody didn't even have to move for this one.
Balls are right on the nose, too.
That had to be nice as an outfitter, huh, Matt? Don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to run anywhere.
Simple game.
Here's Joey Votto, who was 2 for 5 last night. Had a base hit in his first 2 ABs, and he takes outside. Votto 5 RBIs in his last 4 ball games. And a breaking ball. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. I guess that was the cutter. They play Votto to pull. Not drastically. Hamels just asked where that pitch was. The home plate umpire Dan Bellino said up. And that one's down. So it's 3-1. Bellino's behind the plate. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, is at first. Bruce Dreckman's at second, and Alfonso Marquez around at third. That one is ripped toward the alley in right center field. Franco is going to try to cut it off, and he does, and Votto's on his way to second. And he'll get there with a head-first slide, so that's his 10th double of the year. He had to bridge Todd Frazier up with a runner in scoring position. All right, boys, time now for our Nissan keys to the game.
Well, the keys for me, I will start this one off because down goes Frazier. That's one thing that they need to continue to do is keep Todd Frazier under wraps. He took the collar last night and keep it going.
Mine is built off last night's win. Last night they were 1-30 going in when trailing after 7. Big win last night, 5-4.
Well, the Reds last night jumped out to an early lead, and if they can knock Frazier down, maybe they'll stop them from doing that here. Frazier takes a fastball up and in. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Frazier 280, 16 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Tied for second in the league in home runs. And he lines it out towards center field. Herrera will make the catch. Tagging from second is Votto, and he'll get there. But there are 2 outs. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs.
Tell you what, I'm very impressed at how well Votto is running. I mean, he got to second base. It was double off the bat, but running very well. You know, that tagged up right there from second base, running very well for a big guy.
Well, I think you pointed out last night how much weight he's dropped since last year. Jay Bruce takes a strike. It's 0-1. Bruce has 6 hits lifetime against Hamels. 2 of those 6 hits home runs. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. How about the blow the Reds sustained in last night's ball game? The hit by pitch of Marlon Byrd resulted in an apparent fracture to his wrist. Marlon is back in Cincinnati. Inside, 1-2, 95 on that fastball.
And that's a pitch right there that Bruce has not seen from Cole before. Cutters, curveballs, changeups. He has not seen that two-seam fastball yet.
Outside, he tried a curve, and it's 2-2. A little quicker curve than Hamels is used to throwing. Usually his curveball's in the 70s. Out toward left field, Cody Ashe, whoop, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. That ball looked like it was taken off on Cody, but he was able to stay with it. No runs, one hit, one man left over at third. The Phillies will hit when we return. And Jeff Franco as they shake things up at the top of the lineup. Phillies lineup is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phils. After Franco, it's Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. Then Maikel Franco. Cody Ashe will bat 6th again. Freddie Galvis down to the 7 hole. Carlos Ruiz will bat 8th, and batting 9th and pitching is Cole Hamels, of course. And they'll face 27-year-old right-hander Mike Leake. Leake is 2-4 with an ERA of 4.66. Well, Ben, we know he can hit. He had a really rough month of May, and look how many home runs he's allowed so far this year.
He has given up a lot of home runs. I think a lot of it has to do with the ballpark that they play in. But 90.6, velocity's okay. It's his changeup that he's been getting hurt with, throwing it entirely too hard, and he struggles against the Phillies. So look for the Phillies to come out and be very aggressive against him.
ERA of 7.41, and Odubel takes a strike. It's 0-1. Month of May, Leake had a 6.75 earned run average. The opposition hit .336 against him. Breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Inside corner. That one must have got the top part of the plate. Odubel was dancing out of the way. It'll be Herrera, Franco, and Utley, as Ryan Sandberg said today. I'm just trying to shake it up a little bit. Said he likes Odubel's aggressiveness. We saw him lead off early on in the year. We saw him lead off in spring training for a good part of spring training.
One thing you're going to see from Mike Leake is he stands on the first base side of the rubber. A lot of fastballs inside the left-handers.
Chopper back toward the middle, and charging is Cozart, and cleanly throws out Herrera, and there's one away. Well, here's Jeff Franco. And Murph, Jeff has been kind of on the shelf the last couple of days.
Franco, because This happened on Saturday to Jeff Franco, swinging the bat, and you see the ball glances off of his thumb. He stayed in that game on Saturday. In fact, he came up with a double, which was almost a home run on that at bat. But he said that his thumb started to swell up a little bit, and he needed the last couple of days to kind of let that swelling go down. He said his fingernail was full with blood. They had to drain that, and he just needed a couple of days. But said right now he could grip the bat no problem, and he saw his name in the lineup today. He said he's ready to go in the number 2 hole. And as you mentioned, Ryan Sandberg just trying to change some things up. So you'll see Herrera and Francoeur 1-2 in this game. So good to see Jeff Francoeur back in the lineup.
You know, it was funny the other day. He said he was standing at second base after he had the double, and he was talking about the Tulowitzki having a conversation with him. He said, I don't even know what he said. I was so enamored by the fact I couldn't feel the top of my thumb.
Yeah, he said he was in a lot of pain when he got down there to second base, and Tulo, was trying to have a conversation with him. Didn't remember a thing that he said. He said all he could remember was it felt like the top of his thumb was no longer there. So that's not a pleasant feeling.
I don't think it is. Yeah. He was available last night, though. He said that he was going to hit at some point if they needed him. Utley takes on the inside corner. It's 0-2.
And that day he went out to right field. He's playing his position. He just kept looking at his thumb and shaking his hand.
He takes a breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chase, 207 batting average, 342 over his last 22 games. So that's why his average has gone from 0.99 to 207. That home run he hit last night was his first one here at Citizens Bank Park.
He likes to hit all his homers at the big yards. Down in Florida, up at Citi Field.
I think he wanted to call time there, and he hits it out to second. Brandon Phillips is up with it, and the side is retired. So the Phillies go down easily here in the bottom of the first. 3 ground ball outs and 12 pitches overall for Leake. On to the second inning here in Philly. Back here at Citizens Bank Park, Zach Cozart will lead it off. Cozart 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. Swings at the first pitch. It's a fly ball to center. Odubel Herrera is there. With one away, it's our chance to let you know what the giveaway is for this Sunday. It is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98 Ken Giles t-shirt. It's for fans 14 and under. You can get tickets for the 3-game series against the Giants by going to Phillies.com. Folks at International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98, man, they've given out some great t-shirts over the years. Here's Chris Negron. He takes, I guess it was high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
No, it wasn't.
There's a strike.
Well, so far with the strike zone I've seen is that he's not going to go up and down the zone. He's going to go a couple of inches inside and a couple inches outside on the strike zone.
Yeah, it does look that way. I agree. That's why Leake was getting those inside pitches.
Right.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. Now Negron won't be the guy that takes over for Marlon Byrd, at least for the foreseeable future. It sounds like it's going to be Brennan Bosch, but they didn't want Bosch to put his toe in the water against a tough lefty like Cole Hamels. 1-2 pitch to Negron. Swing and a miss. Change up. First strikeout. 2 outs. That was the pitch the other night. His changeup was unbelievable the other night.
Friday night's changeup was just stellar. You thinking 85 miles an hour is too hard? No, he's throwing 95, 94, 95. It's a perfect speed.
Well, now a 2 away. Here's Tucker Barnhart catching today. Barnhart, a switch hitter, takes on the outside corner. Well, I think you're right, Matt. A few inches off, a few inches in.
Which is not a bad thing for Cole's sinker and two-seamer.
Ooh, line drive right over the shoulder of Hamels. And that's the second hit for the Reds. Cole a little upset with himself that he left that pitch up. And that'll bring Mike Leake to the plate.
This is the pitch up in the zone. Tooch wants it down in the zone to change up. Drives it back up the middle, and you can see not very happy with the location of that fastball or changeup. Sorry.
Well, this is a guy, you know, when we talk about pitchers going from the 9-hole to the 8-hole, this is a guy that can swing the bat. And Mike Leake, he has 5 career home runs, including 1 this year. Hitting only $143, but you have to pitch him like he's a hitter. I mean, that's a pretty healthy swing right there. He's got some bat speed, man.
Some bat speed, yes.
You guys talking about me?
Yeah, back in the day, Ben.
Tell you what, we know Matt and I disagree with the pitcher hitting in the 8-hole, but it worked out for the Reds a couple times last night with Cueto being able to advance runners and bunt. Even in this situation, if he does get out, you still have Billy Hamilton leading off next inning.
Out in front of a changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And you know you're a good hitter as a pitcher when you're getting a changeup thrown to you.
Yeah, I think it was a cutter on the first pitch, and then the changeup here. Swing and a miss, another changeup. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Cole Hamels. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. So, an inning and a half in the books. On to the bottom of the second. Still plenty of time to throw out some dollars and get some dogs. NBA Finals and who he thinks is Philly's toughest athlete. Don't miss Breakfast on Broad tomorrow morning from 6 until 8 on the Comcast Network. Bottom of the second. Yeah, it is the final Hatfield Philly Frank Dollar Dog Night. Looks like he's indecisive whether he wants to put some more mustard on that. I think he's fine.
Cheese whiz, ketchup, mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, huh?
Yep.
I'd go spicy mustard. I might put some cheese on it, though. What do you think, Ben?
Either just American cheese, melted, or just straight yellow mustard.
Carl wants chili on his hot dog, I could tell. First pitch to Ryan Howard is a strike. It's 0-1. Little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good luck at McDonald's. Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Warren Epting of Pittman. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, then Warren will win $100. Howard taps that one.
I was walking out to my truck last night, and Ryan was standing out in the hallway. I said, "It's a nice win, huh?" He goes, "We needed that." So it was a good win for the boys.
He needed that double, too. Even though it was misplayed for the second time in the last year for Jay Bruce out in right field, who felt terrible after the game. Howard lines it foul down the left field line.
Well, yeah, he feels terrible, but he didn't throw that hanging slider. Right? So why can't a pitcher pick up an infielder and outfielder when they make a mistake sometimes?
You're offended, aren't you?
No, I mean, that's, yeah, you feel bad by not making the play. But there's nothing you can do about it. That's why a lot of ballparks you'll see outfielders will crouch, will go in towards the gaps and take the camera wells away from them so it doesn't go through. You wait till we go to Toronto. Every ball hitting Toronto goes through the lights.
Time is called by Howard. Howard rolls over on it foul just to stay alive. It remains 2-2. Ryan is 6 for 15 against Mike Leake. Included in that, a couple home runs. That one softly up the first base line. It is a foul ball. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Atlanta was up in this one, but wound up losing 9-8 to the Diamondbacks. A.J. Pollock's had a pretty good couple of days for the D-backs. A home run, a double, 2 hits overall. Diamondbacks and the Mariners are reportedly going to make a big trade. That just has to be confirmed by Major League Baseball. A high fly ball center field. Willie Hamilton blowing a bubble, waiting, makes the catch, and 1 out after a 9-pitch at bat for Howard.
Who'd you say was making the big trade?
Arizona. Mark Trumbo is going to go to Seattle.
Really?
Yeah, for a couple of players and a prospect. And I think if you're Trumbo, you might embrace that, because now you can really just DH if you have to. Although they have Nelson Cruz, so maybe they'll make him play.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz has been playing right field.
Here's Maikel Franco, takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
They just need to get Robinson Cano going. He's having an awful year.
Yeah, they wound up losing to the Yankees today, 3-1.
I tell you, I don't remember Leake's breaking ball being. It's really tight tonight. Really tight.
Inside, 2-1. He wanted that pitch. I think everybody around the ball club is hoping that what Franco did last night in those couple of at-bats will get him to break out. keep his head in there. After reaching on a couple of errors, he was able to pick up a couple of hits, including this home run.
He just does a very good job of getting his foot down early. One thing you can never accuse him of is being late with his leg kick. He's got to get it down really early.
Oh, a call, strike 3. Little delayed call from Dan Bellino. But that has been a strike when the lefties have been up there.
Well, it has. It's one of those things with 2 strikes you got to protect. That's off the plate, but it's a good pitch. And we talked about it a lot. You cannot allow the umpire to have the last call. You got to either commit and try to make contact, fouled off, or hopefully put it in play.
Here's Cody Ashe, and Ashe swings through a breaking ball, or cutter, I should say, and it's 0-1. 6-game hitting streak for Cody. His average at 256. He was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. Ryan Sandberg talked today about his defense. He likes the way he's playing out in left field, and he's reacting. He was asked about that play where he and Herrera converged and Ashe made the catch. He said, you know what, that's something we do expect will happen for for a little bit of time while they learn to communicate with each other.
Well, that's the easiest thing in the outfield is communication. Is yelling once and just keep on yelling.
It's pulled out to second base. Another chance for Phillips. So 6 up, 6 down for Mike Leake. We've completed 2 innings, and we'll go to the 3rd very quickly here in Philadelphia in a scoreless game. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, the question, guys, is who had the first 30 home run, 30 stolen base season in Reds history? First 30 home run, 30 stolen base season in Reds history. Answer will be revealed in just a little bit.
If it's the man I'm thinking of, I watched him hit 3 homers at the Vet in one game.
Hamilton jabs at it. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And they went a combined 2,700 feet.
In the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Hamilton. Hamilton overall 225 with 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. It's his 8th game as the number 9 hitter. That one's out of play, and it's 2-2. Tonight's ball game is also available in Spanish. Angel and Bill are over in the booth with Will. Just use the SAP button on your television to change the language through the menu on your cable box. Curved ball and a little high.
All right, who's faster, Hamilton or Gordon?
Well, we might find out when we see him run. If I recall from last year, I thought Gordon was, but we haven't seen enough. I don't think I've seen enough of Hamilton to decide. You know, I thought was really fast and may have been faster than both of them was Tony Campagna, the little outfielder who played for the Cubs and for the Diamondbacks. We watched him run in a series here at Citizens Bank Park, and I thought, I don't know if there's anybody faster in baseball.
Well, that's saying something, because those two that I mentioned can scoot.
Brandon Phillips is 0 for 1. He lined out his first time up. And he lines that one past the diving Chase Utley into center field. Hamilton around second, and he'll stay at second base. And that puts runners on first and second with nobody out for Joey Votto.
I'll be honest, I really question that 3-2 pitch to Hamilton. You know, you go with a cutter there to a guy that's hitting, 225, and a guy that can run. He really can change the outcome of an inning just with his legs. So if he's going to get on base, I'm going to make him swing the bat.
Oh, they've got him picked. Better hurry and get it back to second. Not in time. Ryan Sandberg's coming up the stairs. Larry Bowa is going to go to the phone. Freddie Galvis did say something to the second base umpire, Bruce Dreckman. Should Cole have run at him a little bit more, guys?
Yeah, he should have ran at him. Right when he stopped, he should have ran right at him. But then again, I mean, he got the ball towards third base quick enough. No, he's safe.
Yeah, he's back.
There was a little hesitation of throwing the ball, to Freddie at second base. So yeah, he could have ran towards him, but he did the good thing, getting rid of it real quick. Franco was a little slow getting it to Freddie.
First pitch coming to Votto. Hamels turns back. I think if he would have taken 1 or 2 steps toward Hamilton, then maybe he could have thrown to Galvis, because Hamilton would have gone back to second.
He's doing what he has to do.
He wants to run.
You have to pay attention to him.
There's a line drive caught by Utley. The flip to second, not in time. That's really all Chase could do, because Hamilton did get back quickly.
Well, you're taught at a young age. You freeze on the line drive, and he froze and did a nice job of getting back. And nice play by Chase. Good point, Tom. That's the only thing he could have done is flip it out of his glove.
Tell you what, hopefully the Reds don't score here, but Cole's not missing a whole lot of barrels right now.
No, he's getting hit hard with these outs.
These guys are squaring the balls up against him. In that first inning, I counted 3 balls that were hit hard. The second inning, Barnhart hit a hard one. Now Phillips and Votto laced 2 liners. Votto's was an out, but still smoked.
A lot of moving going on at second base right now with Hamilton and Chase coming in, keeping them close. As a hitter, I hated that. You're trying to concentrate so much on the pitcher, and you've seen all these guys moving around behind the pitcher.
Might lose sight of the baseball. Inside with a cutter, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And one thing you can't do as a pitcher here is pay so much attention to Hamilton at second that you lose track of what's at stake. And that is getting Todd Frazier out. You still have to make sure you pick up that target and deliver a pitch.
I don't think I've ever seen this much attention paid to a base runner at second base. Trying to keep him close. There he goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. To throw to third, not in time. Stolen base number 23 for Hamilton, number 7 for Brandon Phillips.
And that's the thing, though. Sometimes guys are just too fast. No matter what you do, if they get just the slightest opening, their speed is going to outrun the baseball. And Billy Hamilton is that fast.
Now he's going to go for the strikeout with Todd Frazier.
The only thing you can do different in that situation is have Ryan Howard get a little closer to the guy at first base and maybe throw behind the runner, try to get the runner at second base. Brandon Phillips had a huge lead at first base. 1, he's going to beat a force play out, or 2, he's going to crush your infielders for a double play ball.
Yeah, in fact, watching the replay, just wanted to see where Phillips was, thinking maybe Ruiz thinks about going to second. Instead, he had no chance at second base.
No, none.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Frazier. Fouling off a couple of breaking balls here. Up high, 2-2.
You can see Brandon's well off of first base. You know, just if you had your first baseman coming in and just tapping your glove and knowing he's there, and maybe a couple times go over towards first base, it shortens the lead up.
In the dirt, 3-2.
I bet you he only had 60 feet to go.
He had a huge jump because of that lead. It's interesting because if you know that Hamilton's going to probably attempt to steal, maybe you just hold him on with the right-hander up. And a call, strike 3. Surprised him with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Third strikeout for Hamels. 2 outs here in the third.
Well, he saw them all, and I think you would have heard the bench chirping a little bit if he didn't get that pitch, because we've seen Leake get him. Just make sure that Cole gets him.
Well, Cole, as we mentioned, so dominating against the Cincinnati Reds. First 12 career starts. 9-0. The team is 12-0. John Lester 10-0 against the Orioles in his first 12 starts against that team. You see Oswalt, Pedro, Randy Johnson, the names that Hamels is accompanied by. Now Jay Bruce, and Bruce takes low, 1-0. Ball, no strikes to Bruce. And now 1-1 as he taps that one toward the entrance of the Phillies dugout. Bruce flied to left, or I should say lined to left, his first time up. Hamilton at third, Phillips at second.
That was a very unsure swing of Jay Bruce right there. It's like, well, the ball's in, but it's a fastball. I guess I'll swing.
20 pitches in this inning, split right down the middle with balls and strikes. Fourth 3-ball count for Hamels. Outside, ball 4. So that loads the bases. It's his second walk of the inning. And with the bases loaded, Zach Cozart will come up. Good speed at third, above average at second, and Jay Bruce at first. Although Jay Bruce has stolen some bags the last couple of years.
He got 4 this year.
Yeah. Cozart was retired on a fly ball to center field his first time up. And he's just off a tick or two here in this third inning.
Looks to me like he's exerting too much effort at release. You know, he's not that normal fluid Cole Hamels that we're used to seeing. So he's getting to the release point, just too much effort into it.
Change up, got him out front. Ryan Howard into foul territory. Tiptoeing, makes the catch, and Hamels gets out of a bases loaded jam here in the third inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 walks. 2.5 in the books. They had to run out and get some more dollar dogs. They're selling so fast here at Citizens Bank Park. Where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Bottom of the third inning. Red hot. Hatfield Philly Frank Dollar Dogs being sold. Freddie Galvis will lead things off. Ryan Sandberg said Galvis batting in the 7th spot is just a change of scenery. Said he's getting a little too long with his swing. Trying to get him to shorten up the way he was in the first month or so of the season, first month and a half. Pulls that one to Brandon Phillips. 7 up, 7 down for Mike Leake. And Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, Mike Leake making his 11th start of the season for the Cincinnati Reds, and it really has been a tale of 2 months for Mike Leake. He actually started off the season well in the month of April, but he has really struggled in the month of May after getting a win in his first start in May. He went no decision and 3 straight losses. Take a look at the ERA. It is more than doubled in the month of May, and as I have the hits per 9 innings, and you know, a lot of it has to do with his off-speed stuff. Look at the batting average against his off-speed stuff in May, close to 400 for opponents' batting average against his off-speed stuff. Now, Ben, I know you said tonight you think his off-speed stuff looks pretty good, so that might bode well for a guy like Mike Leake against the Phil's lineup, because it hasn't been good in the month of May.
Well, I'm just looking at his breaking ball, Murphy. Listen, very tight, and he's throwing it consistently. So that's something that I have noticed, especially the lefties in the Phillies lineup. the breaking balls with depth have given them troubles this year.
Well, 5 ground ball outs so far as Ruiz lines one out towards center.
And that's the changeup that I discussed in the scouting report. That was 87 miles an hour right there. He's a guy that's only throwing 92. He did top out today at 93, but 5 miles an hour, that's not going to cut it. Need more of a variance than that.
See, I mean, you'd almost consider it a choked fastball.
Yeah.
It's a BP fastball. Different grip, same spin on the ball.
Here's Hamels, who swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. He's awfully quick, too, with his windup. I don't know if that causes the hitters to.
No, I mean, he has the type of windup. It's almost like the 1970 windups.
Yeah.
You know, the hands down over the head, the big leg kick.
Swing and a miss. So 3 pitches to Hamels and a strikeout. So 9 in a row retired by Leake to begin this ball game. That was just a 10-pitch third inning. We'll head to the top of the 4th inning. Boy, everybody's got different toppings all over the place. Avery weatherproof labels from WB Mason are built to withstand the extreme elements. Trust Avery labels with your most essential shipments. Who but WB Mason? We go to the 4th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Negron will lead it off. It'll be Negron, Barnhart, and Mike Leake. 6, 7, and 8 for the Cincinnati Reds. Negron struck out his first time up. Negron was born in Willingboro, New Jersey, in Burlington County, and then moved out to California where he grew up, played baseball. Played in 49 games last year, hit .271 with 6 home runs and 17 runs batted in for the Reds. He's a shortstop by trade. Played a lot of second base, but tonight, of course, playing the outfield for the injured Marlon Byrd. On the outside corner, 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was an excellent cutter there. It was up and in. Most likely a strike, though, but that's one pitch that Cole has gotten away from because his other pitch has been so good. Looks like he's thrown a few more of them tonight.
And he comes back with a changeup that just kept on cutting inside, and that's his 4th strikeout of the night. One away. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Well, this is what happened last night with Marlon Byrd. Guys, we called this a changeup, but I guess it just hit the wrong bone for Marlon Byrd.
Well, and unfortunately hit the bad spot on your wrist. Doesn't matter how hard you're throwing it. Change up and in, they got away, and unfortunately broke his wrist.
So we arrived at the ballpark today. Marlin was already back in Cincinnati being reevaluated. Now they're not sure how long he's going to be out. They're hoping it's a shorter time than they think. But Marlin has an incentive-laden year ahead of him. If he reaches a certain amount of numbers, then he has an option that picks up for 2016. So not only does it leave Brian Price with a void offensively, but it also leaves Marlon Byrd with a big void for next year. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hamels frustrated with himself. Change up, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, we saw that happen last night, and 3 of us didn't think anything of it. You know, it was kind of like
stayed in the game.
Yeah, he got hit.
Then an inning later is when he was lifted.
Pretty good chance he's going to throw a 3-2 changeup right here. Having a hard time with his fastball.
Want to state that again?
No, I was wrong.
But he could do it right here. Nope, he came back with another fastball. In the dirt, and he walks Barnhart, who's been on base now for the 2nd time. 3rd walk overall for Hamels. Well, African American Heritage Night will be this Friday when the Phillies take on the San Francisco Giants. Music legends, the OJs, and Gene Carney will be presented with the Phillies Gamble and Huff Community Partnership Award. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Well, Leake, his first time up, struck out. He shows bunt, takes a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Jamie Moyer there with Cole Hamels hanging his leg out.
I was talking with Brian Price, the manager for the Reds, yesterday about Jaime Mouillet.
Jamie's son Hunter hit a huge home run the other day for Pepperdine.
Big one.
I texted him. I said, you need to show a little more emotion when he does stuff like that. Chops that one toward the hole at shortstop, hit to left field. Barnhart stops at 2nd. The Reds now have runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 man down. Well, here's Hamels' best earned run average against opponents. The Reds, of course, lead the way. How about San Diego? 16 times he's faced the Padres. His earned run average 2.15. And obviously, you know the length of time he's been in the NL East. He was going to face one of those NL East teams a lot, but will have some success against some of them. Hamilton takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ball, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Good play by Ruiz to keep that in front of him. Carlos and Cameron Rupp have combined for just 3 pass balls this year and 4 errors behind the plate. Phillies defense overall is 12th in the league, but their catchers from a defensive standpoint have done a nice job. 1 and 2 and a changeup.
Well, and both catchers move around very well. Great technique. Ben, you'd probably agree. Very on their tippy toes when they're catching. Anticipate balls in the dirt.
I'm impressed with how both of them get over top of the baseball when those balls in the dirt. You don't. One thing to get to a ball and block it, but if you're not over top of the ball, you're going to deflect it every which way. They keep it right in front.
Off the end of the bat, Howard was breaking toward first. He has it, has to hurry, and Hamels tried to barehead it and drop the ball. The speed of Billy Hamilton putting some extra pressure on, and now the bases are loaded with 1 man down here in the 4th. Second straight inning, the Reds have loaded up the bases with 1 out.
This is right off the end of the bat. Ryan Howard actually went towards the base first and then went back to his right to get the ball. High feed. Cole almost makes a very nice play.
Yeah, the feed wasn't toward the bag, otherwise they would have had him. That may go down as an E3, but we'll see how they score it. They haven't put hit or error up on the board just yet. So with 1 out, bases are loaded. Brandon Phillips is the batter. So damage control again for Cole. We left him loaded in the 3rd. All right, so they give the error to Cole Hamels on that.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
E1?
E1. It was there in time. I didn't think it was that poor. A little behind them, but I still think it was a catchable ball.
Well, the Phillies will set up to try to turn 2 here and get out of the inning. Phillips is 1 for 2. He lined out and singled, and he pulls that one past the diving Franco into left field. 1 run is in. Rounding third, heading for home is Leake, and he's going to score as the throw comes to Ruiz. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. And Brandon Phillips has 2 hits here tonight.
And he's hit the ball hard all 3 times. Even the line out to lead off the game, lined out to Cody Ashley, hit the ball hard. He's been very aggressive early in counts.
That's the only 4th pitch he's seen so far today. First at bat, line drive to left on the 2nd pitch. Second at bat, first pitch line drive for a base hit, and then there again.
After a conversation with Chase, Hamels will go back to work. 43 pitches in the last 2 innings. He's still 1 man down here in the top of the 4th.
Now the problem is you have the same problem you had last inning. Billy Hamilton on second, Phillips on first.
Fly ball to left field, and Cody Ashley will make the catch, and there are 2 outs. And now Todd Frazier, who's 0 for 2. Hamels had a 17-inning scoreless streak against the Reds that's been snapped in this inning, and his 8-inning scoreless streak overall this year has been snapped. 1 ball, no strikes to Frazier, and he takes a strike. 1-1. Curveball hit back to the box. Hamels has got it, and the inning is over. 1-3 on the putout. 2 runs do score for the Reds here in the top of the 4th inning. They leave 2. There was 1 Phillies error. Middle of the 4th, Phillies down 2-0. Phillies. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com today. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by the Quality Plus Sports Stores. Go further. Well, the Galapagos gang invading Ashburn Alley here at Citizens Bank Park. Odubel Herrera will lead it off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Mike Leake is not allowed a base runner. Gosh, we said that one time earlier on this homestand. Chad Bettis went 7 innings of no-hit baseball. Herrera grounded out to short his first time up. And he taps it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking pitch. Phillies last night had 6 extra base hits, which, considering their struggles as he won the round awkwardly on that, he's not going to get any help from anybody on that 3rd strikeout. Well, considering their struggles during the 7-game losing streak, those 6 were much needed.
This is that swing that you look at a different pitch and then all of a sudden you decide to go ahead and finish. I mean, he had to be sitting curveball.
Had to be. Franco whacks that curveball foul, and it's 0-1.
And I've talked about it before. There's no hitter alive who can sit off speed with 2 strikes and adjust to a fastball. You just can't. Your hands aren't quick enough. Your eyes don't pick up the rotation quick enough. That's why you sit fastball, 2 strikes, and make the adjustment.
The ball cut toward the outer half, and it's 1-2.
If he's getting that one all night, it's going to be a long evening.
Well, Franco is saying something to Bellino, and I believe there's some conversation from the Phillies dugout as well. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, says the first base umpire. No argument from Franco. And that's 4 strikeouts for Leake. Phillies Baseball Academy is open for business. You want information? Go to PhilliesCamps.com or call 610-520-3400. Some of the things you can expect: a trip to Citizens Bank Park, a Phillies Baseball Academy uniform for all campers, a camper reunion night at Citizens Bank Park. Again, go to PhilliesCamps.com for more information. Chase Utley grounded out to second his first time up.
Don't see that shift tonight, do you?
No, he sold him on it.
Yeah, but thanks to Cueto, the way he did the quick pitch.
Well, it's in there, 1-1.
You notice what happened last night when he didn't do the quick pitch. He hit his 4th home run to right field.
Toyota Major League scoreboard. Jays are shutting out the Nationals 5-0. Change up. Actually, that was a cutter. And Utley rips it down the right field line and hooks foul. That ball hit off the guy's head or his shoulder.
It looks like it went through one guy's hands and the other guy in the head.
It went through
his hands.
It went through the guy that has the ball, went through his hands and then hit the hands of the guy behind him.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Nice play by Ryan Howard in the on-deck circle.
2 errors on the play.
Yeah. Well, the other guy didn't touch it. I don't know if you can give him one. Down low, 2-2.
Barnhart's signal change up there, and it was at 90. Tough time believing that was a changeup.
And a breaking ball, and Utley draws the walk. That was the first 3-ball count. It's the first base runner for the Phils, and it comes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I think anybody out on the playing field could have flipped a coin on that one. But if he had punched him out, I don't know if anybody would have argued about it.
Well, it's a backdoor curveball.
Why you're throwing that 3-2 with a 2-run lead before it, I have no idea. I don't agree with that pitch. Maybe in the American League, everything's different in that league, but challenge somebody. If he goes deep, so what? It's 2-1. You're showing that you can throw that fastball in and run it back over the plate effectively.
Ball's 1 strike. You may hear Jay McLaughlin, who's doing the internal PA, telling us that that's the 619th walk in the career of Chase Utley. He's now tied for 10th all time, so he reaches the top 10 in another category for the Phillies as Howard shatters his bat. And it's 0-2.
Pick me out a winner, Bobby. Okay. Every time, Tom. Every time.
You think Tucker likes when you call him Bobby?
They never even seen the movie.
He may not have.
Maybe never saw it.
I think he has. Outside, 1-2 to Howard.
Leave one up here, Leake.
I think he surprised Votto and Utley on that pickoff play over at first. Swing and a miss, and Howard is struck out. So 3 strikeouts in the inning for Leake. He's not a strikeout pitcher, but he has 5 here tonight. Phillies got their first base runner, and they leave that runner over at first here in the 4th. his answer. All right, guys, here we go. Who had the first 30 home run, 30 stolen base season in Reds history? Ben, you think you know it?
I'm going to go with Eric the Red, Eric Davis.
Eric Davis is correct. Boy, I'm surprised you got that one. Back in 1987. No offense, but I just didn't think you'd be able to get that one.
I was 10.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. So you were at Veterans Stadium when he had a 3 home run game?
I did. I was there, and I'm looking. I'm trying to see here.
Can't find it.
Looks like 1987. On May the 3rd, he took Kevin Gross, Dan Schatzeder. Kevin Gross once and Dan Schatzeder deep twice. I was at the ballgame. And they were moonshots.
Swing and a miss. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Remember where you were sitting?
Safe down the right field line. Remember, he would just hold that bat.
Great bat speed.
Big old forearms.
Yeah.
Take that stride and just whack.
Wristbands with his picture on it.
That's right. High tops.
High tops. One of the first to wear high tops. Swing and a miss. He overpowered him with a high heater. 5 strikeouts for Hamels. 1 out here in the 5th. That'll bring Zach Cozart to the plate. Murph, what's going on, buddy?
Well, Tom, it's a perfect time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. The Phils have enjoyed hosting the Reds over the years. Check out the numbers. Since 2007, they have had more success against Cincinnati at home than any other team. In 30 games, they have 22 wins, just 8 losses. That's good for a winning percentage of .733. Followed by the Diamondbacks. They're 19-8 against them in 27 games. And the Rockies, they're 22-10 in 32 games, a winning percentage of .688. So I like when the Reds come to town.
Yeah, the Rockies came to town to start this homestand. It didn't go all that well for the Phils. Last night's win was a good one for the Phillies over Cincinnati. Now they're going to have to overcome a 2-run deficit here tonight. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. That was the curveball from Hamels. 6 strikeouts for him. Yeah, there are 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
You can see right there the grip, spike curveball, very nice delivery. Like Ben said earlier, he was throwing his curveball a little harder. Now he's back down in the 70s with that curveball and getting a bigger break on it.
Well, now Negron, who struck out twice, both swinging, throws him a changeup, 0-1. Well, he made some kind of an adjustment in the dugout in between innings. Line drive toward right. Franco is there, and the inning is over. Well, that was a quick 5th inning, and Cole Hamels needed that. It's his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. On to the bottom of the 5th inning on a very nice night here in Philadelphia. Michael Franco will lead it off when we come back. 1960s retro night. Going to turn back the clock to the late 60s. Last year it was the early 60s. This year it's the late 60s. Vintage music, ballpark characters, retro-themed player headshots on Fanavision. Phillies and the Cardinals will wear retro 1960s era uniforms. And that's June 19th. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Michael Franco will lead it off. Franco struck out looking his first time up. Chops that one foul toward the camera well. Off the hands, a looper out towards center. Hamilton is there. And one away. What is Mike Leake doing, gentlemen, that's causing the Phillies to have no hits so far?
Well, I tell you what he's doing versus lefties is that he's doing a very good job throwing four-seamers inside, cutters inside, speeding them up a little bit, and then all of a sudden throwing that backdoor curveball or backdoor sinker. Right-handers, what do you think, Ben?
Right-handers, he's dotting it down and away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and again, if he's going to get that pitch, kind of like the one he threw Franco, the one he struck out Franco on his first at bat. It doesn't seem like they can reach it. One, it's a great pitch, that pitch down and away. Is it a pitch that's a strike? I don't know. But if he's going to get it, it's a pitch you can't do anything with.
And plus, what he's doing versus the left-handers is he's doubling up inside. He's throwing a cutter inside for a strike and then gradually just coming in farther and farther and farther, like the last strikeout Ryan Howard had. He threw a cutter farther inside.
Curveball, and it's there for a strike to Galvis. Galvis is 0 for 1, 0 for his last 18. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
See, that's a little cutter there. So he can keep you honest with that one where you have to kind of swing at it and hope you keep it fair. And then he's throwing the one that comes back. Like that one.
Yeah. And he's got a fortuitous strike zone as well. I mean, the umpire, and it hasn't been overbearing, but the umpire is, as Matt, you said, working on the inside and outside part of the plate.
Right, which is a nightmare for hitters. Up and down's a lot easier than it is in and out.
Broke his back, ground ball to shortstop. Kozart's up with it. Inning is over. Phillies go down in order. That's an 8-pitch inning. So he's had a 12, a 10, now an 8-pitch inning here in the 5th. We've completed 5 on to the 6th. The way this game is going, you better get to the hot dog stand quickly. Is swinging his bat into the 3rd month of the season as he did from the leadoff spot a season ago. Tough times at the plate in April turned into productive results in May. Back at the top of the order, Ben sets the table and sets the pace for Phil's offense, looking for a burst of energy. He's moved from center field to left and over to right. He's delivering from all corners of the outfield. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, everybody's getting into the dollar dog party here at Citizens Bank Park. Smiley was just out hitting some hot dogs with the Fanatic. Ryan Howard will make the catch on the jam shot to Barnhart. And there's one away. That would have been a nasty collision. So one out here in the top of the 6th inning. Mike Leake will be the hitter. Leake is 1 for 2. He's struck out. He's also singled. That's that one foul toward the Hall of Fame club. And just below it, 0-1.
Think about how much of an advantage it is as a starting pitcher if you can handle the bat. Get a bunt down, or let alone swing it. That can keep you in a lot of more ball games. You go out there and throw an extra inning, and especially if you're in a 2-0 ball game or 2-1 ball game. That gives the manager an opportunity to save a pinch hitter if you can make it through the next inning.
Yeah, this isn't just a flash in the pan for Mike Leake either, as he waves at that 0-2 pitch. That was a sharp curveball. 7 strikeouts for Cole. Tomorrow night at 6, Derek Gunn and Ruben Frank give you the scoop on the Eagles' first OTAs of the offseason. Watch Quick Slants presented by Nissan, only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, and you're talking about having a pitcher who can control the bat. Well, back in the 4th inning, usually you're in a bunt situation, man on first base, 1 out, they allow him to hit, base at the left field, and that starts to rally.
Right.
So why is he hitting 8th and Hamilton's hitting 9th? What's the difference?
Good point. Maybe he should be hitting higher than 8th. Hamilton is swinging a miss. It's 0-1. Over to 3rd. It's a foul ball. Oof, thank goodness. Did we say oof at the same time?
I think we did.
I think the whole stadium may have. Honestly, if that was ruled fair, that would have been a double.
Oh, yeah. Foul by a mile.
You didn't go woof?
No. We don't say woof up north.
Fonzo looked like Popeye right there.
He did. I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering where his pipe was and his forearms. Out toward the middle, and Galvis gets to it, throws quickly to first in time. What a play by Freddie Galvis. Forget about the fact he got to the ball, but how fast he popped up, twisted, and got the throw over to first base to retire Billy Hamilton. Nothing across for the Reds. You don't think he recognized who was running? That was a challenge to Freddie Galvis. The quick release, and the inning is over. Another 1-2-3 inning for Hamels. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Buy Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. And buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians. Here's Carlos Ruiz to lead it off, and Ruiz takes low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos lined out to center his first time up. Phillies do not have a hit. They have 1 base runner. It was a walk to Chase Utley. Mike Miller is allowing somebody else to handle his camera while he has a dollar dog or 6.
Someone tell Mike they're not going to run away from him. Chooch is not happy right now.
I don't think
with
so.
Dan Bellino.
In the dirt, 3-2. Another breaking ball. Hamels waits on deck. Well, because he's giving the pitcher the outside part of the plate, anything that's out there, I think the hitters think they have to go after with 2 strikes. And Ruiz did that and got a piece of Barnhart.
How's this feel, Ben?
Rub some dirt on it. That off his kneecap.
Kneecap, yeah.
Yeah, his shoulder was so close to the knee. I really thought it hit the shoulder.
He reminds me of Ryan Hannigan, doesn't he, Sergi?
Yep.
He does.
Good AB.
There's ball 4. Second walk issued by Leake. And now Hamels comes up. Well, pitches by inning. 11 in the first, 8 in the 5th, and 7 here in the 6th inning. It's remarkable that he threw 20 pitches in the 4th, but he walked a guy and struck out 3.
Yeah, and he's only had 74 pitches.
Hamels bunts at a breaking ball and missed it. It's 0-1. Bunts at it again and misses. It's 1-2. Boy, Frazier was really coming. He was so close. Cole could have pulled that bat back and pulled off that Butcher Boy.
Yeah, he could either do the Butcher Boy or turn around, square around a little earlier, and push bunt it hard. You know, foot left or right, it's going to be a base hit.
And I don't think a manager would have a lot of problem with that. If you see a guy that's breathing down your neck, you know what? If you see him doing that, try and take advantage of it.
He bunts at it, misses. The ball goes between the legs of the catcher. It's a strikeout, but Ruiz will advance. 6 strikeouts for Leake. Follow the Phillies all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Well, now Odubel Herrera with a runner at second base. Herrera waves at the first pitch. Boy, He has no idea what Mike Leake is throwing at him right now. By the way, we don't know how he got to second base. We're assuming wild pitch.
I think it's a pass ball.
Well, I thought it was too. Do you think it hit the dirt? I didn't see the replay.
I don't think so.
Foul ball, and it's 0-2. All right, let's see the last pitch to Hamels. It is a pass ball. That's called by our catcher in the booth.
And I never like to say those two words. I always say wild pitch, but that was a pass ball.
Way to be objective, Ben.
That's right. Some hitters had a knack, or bunters, I should say, of getting that bat right in your line of vision. And it would just mess you up terribly. Just lose track of the ball. You see it release point, and then you just lose it. And you try and get either above the bat or below the bat so you can pick it up again.
Chase does that on stolen bases. When he's hitting, and somebody's still on the base, he'll do that with the bat dragged back towards the catcher's eyes.
And a call, strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Leake. Well, that ties his career high in no-hit innings, the 5 2/3. He did it against the Diamondbacks back in 2013. I think everybody has pitchers that, you know, from game to game that they're a little confused about, but Odubel Herrera has no idea with what Mike Leake is doing.
0. But there's some pitchers that you do not pick up their release point. They hide the ball well. You get caught up in his delivery a little bit.
One ball, no strikes to Francoeur. Down and away, 2-0.
You know they have film on him, and he was so bad in May. I know the Phillies are struggling offensively right now, but what I'm seeing out of him this evening, and yes, he does have a favorable strike zone, but I'm looking at a pitcher that's very good tonight.
And with a lot of movement, it seems, too. Out towards center field, Hamilton starts in and then reaches up and makes the catch. And the inning is over. That's 6 innings of no-hit baseball for Mike Leake. The only batters that he has allowed reach base are Utley and Ruiz with free passes. We'll head to the 7th. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Brandon Phillips' 2-run single, the only RBIs in tonight's ball game. But the story is starting to be Mike Leake, who has 7 strikeouts over 6, has not allowed a base hit so far. We begin the top of the 7th inning. And Cole Hamels will deliver to Brandon Phillips, and Phillips again swings at the first pitch, and Cody Ashley makes the diving attempt. It goes by him, and Phillips will go to second base, and he'll be there with his 3rd hit. He's 3 for 4. So the leadoff batter's in scoring position. Then ends a stretch of 8 in a row retired by Hamels.
Well, once again, first pitch fast, swinging at the fastball, hits it off the end of the bat. And I heard you guys were talking when I was gone on the weekend was what the biggest adjustment for Cody Ashley is in the outfield. And for me, it's the balls are hit right at him. When to freeze, when to go back, when to come in, and that one as well as when to dive for a ball.
On the inside corner, it's 0-1 to Votto.
And he's going to have to learn to listen to the sound the bat makes. Or try to.
Yeah, it's tough up in the outfield.
Yeah. Especially with bigger crowds.
Curveball, it's 0-2. Well, he did say that the first time he got a chance to get out there when it was this time of night when the lights were popped on, he said, man, the lights are so much better in the big leagues.
He's not lying. Hitting wise and playing defense.
That wasn't as close as Votto made it seem. It's not a bad idea. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, it's a reaction because he's sitting curveball. Joey Votto's he guesses a lot versus left-handers. So when you're sitting curveball and it does not break, that's the reaction you get.
Swing and a miss. That time I don't think he was sitting curveball, but he is rung up. The throw to first is in time. 8 strikeouts for Hamels. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. All right, so 8 strikeouts for Hamels. He's allowed 6 hits. Todd Frazier's 0 for 3. He's flied out, struck out looking, grounded out.
About this for a stat. The Phillies have been held hitless in 16 of the last 17 innings Hamels has been on the mound.
That is true. He did pitch that game against Bettis. Off the end of the bat. Well, that's when you really have to look into your glove the way it was spinning. 3 unassisted. And there are 2 outs.
Might have a smiley face on it.
And now Jay Bruce is coming up. To the right side. Utley's got it. Hamels is there. The throw to first in time. 4-1 on the putout at first base. It's a 9-pitch 7th inning. And the Reds leave one over at third. We're going to turn those hot dogs into some runs for the Phils when we get back. All right, Danny, thank you. Billy Hamilton ventures back on a fly ball by Chase Utley. And there's one out here in the 7th inning. Mike Leake, the 27-year-old from Fallbrook, California, has not allowed a hit in 6 1/3 innings. It's a career high. And with one man down, he'll now face Ryan Howard, who is 0 for 2. He's flied to center and he is struck out. It's remarkable over the course of time when you think about guys that have thrown no-hitters. You have overpowering guys that come to mind, like a Nolan Ryan. You have guys with constant movement, like a Roy Halladay. And last time the Phillies were in this predicament, it was Chad Bettis, who, quite honestly, he was doing a lot of the same things that Mike Leake is doing here tonight. Although I think Leake has better stuff than Bettis does.
Yes.
1 ball, 1 strike to Howard. Two and 1.
Yeah, Tom, Friday night you and I were doing the game, was kind of, we're looking at each other like, well, we're not seeing a whole lot. We just had the Phillies timing off. But tonight we're seeing some good stuff.
Howard grounds it over to first, and Votto will flip it to Leake covering. And there are 2 outs. Well, it's time now for our T-Mobile game changer. That's Maikel Franco are coming to the plate. And we take a look at what Bettis did in the outing on Friday and what Leake has done here tonight. Now, Bettis wound up going 8. He didn't allow a hit until the 8th inning. He allowed 2 overall as Franco takes low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. But so far, only the 2 walks were the blemish for Mike Leake. And a line drive, base hit it to center field, and there's the first hit of the night. It comes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it means the tying run is coming to the plate.
Watch your lips. Man.
And his curveball, his off-speed pitch has been very good all night with Mike Leake. He makes the mistake right here, leaves the slider or curveball up in the zone, and almost spins the cap.
Check swing, and it's 0-1.
He must be hiding the ball well today, or better movement than we see right now on TV, because a lot of hitters are not getting their foot down early at all. We've seen half swings. We've seen some real bad swings. Like even that pitch right there, the cutter inside, it almost looks like he didn't pick it up until late.
He was not, if it was a strike, he was not in position to hit it.
No. Now, this is what Ben was talking about earlier. He's throwing that cutter inside. Now look for that front door sinker right here. Or not.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball and a call. Strike 3. Got a look at 8 strikeouts for Leake. He winds up allowing his first hit of the night, a line drive single by Miguel Franco, but leaves Franco over at first base. Well, it's been a remarkable performance for Mike Leake. 7 innings of shutout baseball and 1 hit and a boatload of strikeouts. Ruiz paid him a visit almost immediately, and then Ryan Sandberg came out. He was called out by Ruiz and by the home plate umpire, and something's up with Cole as we go to the top of the 8th inning because his night is done. 2 runs, 6 hits, and he winds up striking out 8. This is the last pitch that he threw. It is warm-up tosses. And look at that. Ruiz saw something almost immediately and came out. I mean, there was no velocity at all on the warm-up pitch. Hopefully Cole's okay. We'll step aside. Kenny Giles is warming up as we speak. The Phillies trail at 2-0 here in the top of the 8th. Well, Kenny Giles takes over for Cole Hamels, and it looks like Cole's okay. I mean, when he went back to the dugout, nobody came over to ask him what was going on. He may have just been giving Ken Giles some extra time. That one is looped out towards short, caught by Freddie Galvis. So Zach Cozart is retired. So Giles' numbers: 23 games, 1-1, a 2.53 ERA. I guess it just looked peculiar because he was, you know, out there ready to throw, and
it was like that from the first pitch of warm-ups, you know, and you're wondering, well, why isn't anyone attending to him if he's hurt? Well, right. I think somebody would be if you're $25 million man is hurting.
Yeah, Scott Sheridan and Sean Fakasny both extremely confident. Are both in the dugout.
Well, but there is, why would you have Chooch run out and call somebody to come out?
That I do not know.
Maybe they told Cole he was going out and they forgot to tell Chooch. That's the only thing I can think of.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Negron, excuse me. No balls and 2 strikes. And a slider past Ryan Howard. And Negron is 1 for 4. Phillies baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Try McDonald's new sirloin 3rd pound burgers. Choose from 3 varieties at $4.99 each. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places.
5 pitches so far this inning from Ken Giles. 5 sliders.
And that 0-2 needs to be a lot better than that one.
Yeah, it needs to be about 98.
Runner goes, pitches a strike, throw to second base is high, and it's a stolen base for Negron. That's his 2nd stolen base of the season.
Running lead. And Giles was very quick, but he just got the momentum going before that Chooch with no chance.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Giles with a little extra oomph here tonight at 97 with these last couple pitches.
Sometimes it wakes pitchers up when they throw a slider and get a base hit off your 2nd best pitch. You're a fastball pitcher, you mix in sliders once in a while, but you got to pound the strike zone with a fastball.
Fly ball to left field. And Ashe is back on it, makes the catch. And there are 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Back to first goes Negron. And here comes Mike. Oh, back to second, excuse me. Now here comes Mike Leake. Leake is 1 for 3. He has struck out twice, but he has singled. In fact, he came around to score after singling in the 4th inning on the base hit by Phillips. Good slider, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Phillies bottom of the 8th, Galvis, Ruiz into the pitcher spot. Swing and a miss. He got it. 97 on that fastball. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. One man left here in the top of the 8th inning. Now to the bottom of the 8th. The Phils got their first hit, looking for their first run. Time now for our defensive play of the game, brought to you by Hyundai.
Ball comes back with Hamilton hitting the ball up the middle. Freddie Galvis, one showing off the range and two showing off that great arm with the guy who can get down first base very quick. Not even close at first base. I mean, the exchange is unbelievable. He got up quick, fired a missile. That's why that's brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
That was an unbelievable play by Freddie Galvis. So Galvis will lead things off. Well, you get the moniker of having our Hyundai defensive play of the game, and you lead off an inning. Always works out that way. Probably a short leash for Mike Leake, even though this is only 98 pitches, because they've got one of the better closers in the game in Aroldis Chapman, and they'll try to get to him in the 9th inning. But if he runs into trouble here, J.J. Hoover's warming up in the bullpen. 0-2. Pitch to Galvis. Just a bit outside, 1-2.
But I'm going to ask you this question. Are you a fan of hitters trying to bunt one strike on them?
A fan of it? No.
Too many things could go wrong.
Yeah, like you could go 0-2.
Well, that's the 9th strikeout now for Mike Leake. Freddie Galvis is now 0 for his last 20. With one out, Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, the Chicago Cubs are not taking any chances. They are placing their 23-year-old Jorge Soler on the DL. The right fielder injured his ankle on Monday night when he stepped awkwardly on first base. The timetable for his return, 2 to 3 weeks. Junior Leake will take over in right field and in that cleanup spot for the Cubs. And what a return for Masahiro Tanaka for the New York Yankees today, after being on the shelf since April 23rd with that stiffness in his forearm. He made his returns today against the Mariners. 7 innings pitched. He allowed just 3 hits, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. He is now 3-1 on the season, so a good return for Tanaka. Guys, back upstairs.
Yeah, we watched a lot of that ball game. Velocity-wise, you know, he's probably not going to be what he was last year, but man, oh man, was that ball moving every which way.
And they said he was on the 80 pitch count, and today he threw 78 pitches in that game.
The ball's at 2 strikes. Chopper toward the hole. Kozar gets to it comfortably, and there are 2 outs. Well, 3 base runners overall for the Phillies tonight. 2 walks and a base hit by Franco. That's it. And now Cesar Hernandez will pinch hit for Giles. Cesar on the year is hitting .238. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Numbers as a pinch hitter, he's 5 for 18. Andres Blanco has 5 hits as well. All 5 of his pinch hits are doubles. Out to left field. Going back on it is Negron, and he'll make the catch at the warning track, and the side is retired. 8 shutout innings for Mike Leake. His night is probably done. He's allowed just 1 hit and 3 base runners. Here is WB Mason, providing amazingly low prices on kitchen disposables, consumables, small wares, and so much more from your new restaurant partner. Who but WB Mason. Top half of the 9th inning. Reds lead it 2-zip. Phillies have only 1 hit. Jake Diekman will take over for Ken Giles. Giles pitches a scoreless 8th inning. And now Diekman, 25 strikeouts and 19 1/3. His ERA has been dipping recently, which is a good thing. He'll face Billy Hamilton, and then the top of the order. Aroldis Chapman is warming up in the bullpen. Hamilton takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. There is Chapman. Out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, overpowered him. The high fastball was at 95. And it's 1-2.
This is what you want him to do, is Hamilton is over swing at pitches. He'll get hurt on the swing.
And then you throw him a slider like that, and he has no chance. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1, 2, 3, which Cole Hamels did twice tonight. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, Brandon Phillips. Odds on Phillips swinging at the first pitch here, guys?
0.
Ben?
It's worked for him all night. I know I'd be swinging.
Oh. Ben, you owe Matt $5.
Because he trusts Cole Hamels is going to throw a first pitch strike, so he can be aggressive. That was only the 6th pitch he has seen so far tonight.
And the Reds have really left the door wide open for the Phillies in this ball game. I mean, the Phillies have not had a whole lot of base runners, but the Reds have. The Reds are 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
And their offense helped the Phillies defense out last night as well. They had some opportunities. They could have blown that game wide open.
A couple wicked sliders so far.
Did you ask to borrow the pen?
Use my whiteout.
Couple of healthy hacks the last 2 swings. Fastball's up in the zone at 98, 97.
That's a hard slider right there at 90.
Yeah, they listed it as a changeup.
Could have been a changeup he just yanked. Did throw one earlier in the at bat, which was at 89.
Inside, and 99-mile-an-hour fastball that misses. So Brandon Phillips' on-base percentage is really getting a boost here tonight. He's been on base 4 times. A reminder, the Giants are coming to town this weekend. Giants are currently playing at home. They'll be in Philadelphia beginning Friday night, 7:05. Then a day game on Saturday and an afternoon ball game on Sunday at 1:35. The IBEW Local 98 Ken Giles t-shirt for fans 14 and under. Fly ball left center field. That's well hit. Herrera going back, and it is gone. 2-run home run for Joey Votto, his 10th of the year. And what was just a 2-0 deficit is now a 4-0 deficit here in the top of the 9th inning. What do? Do you let Leake finish it now? They never did pinch hit for him.
It's a good question. Fastball right down the middle of the plate.
Boy, he crushed it.
And that's where his power alley is, that left center swing.
Todd Frazier 0 for 4 in this ball game, 0 for 9 in the series. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
You know, when you see guys that have that slight uppercut, they will tend to stay inside the ball. Ryan Howard early in his career, slight uppercut. When you catch those balls deeper, you're not losing any power. You're still the pitch is providing the power. The swing plane will guide that ball out to left center.
Down the right field line out of play. It remains 0-2 to Frazier.
See way too many comfortable at bats from lefties.
Swing and a miss. And there are 2 outs. Boy, Frazier's 0 for 10 now in this series. Yeah, they have sat Chapman down, so I would assume that Leake is going to go out and pitch in the bottom of the 9th inning. Why not? You get a 4-run lead now. His pitch count is in the low hundreds.
And they haven't been stressful innings.
Not even a little bit. Chapman eating his hat in the bullpen. Leake is at 107 pitches.
Ben, I agree with you. The left-handed hitters look way too comfortable versus Diekman.
That's not even a flinch right there by Jay Bruce. You know, it's not.
Well, that's a close pitch. Second walk issued by Diekman. That goes back to the report that Murph did about a week or so ago about the walks issued by Phillies pitchers by the bullpen.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with maybe you better go back and look at some film, and maybe you are tipping something. Maybe with the glove. You know, there has to be something, because there's no way a left-hander who throws 98 miles an hour shouldn't have guys bailing out as a hitter or buckling them with a slider. It has to be an uncomfortable at bat, and we're not seeing that.
He has not signaled to the pen just yet. Diekman still has the baseball. He's going to. Now there it is. He's going to go get Garcia. So Diekman is lifted after allowing 2 runs. He's responsible for the base runner over at first. Pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. It's Genmar Gomez who will come in. of the game. Back in the fourth inning. Well, Brendan Phillips had a heck of a night.
He has had a heck of a night, and he's been early, and he's been very, very aggressive. I'm sure the Phillies make note of that. Scoring Barnhart and Leake here. And then in the ninth inning off Diekman, Joey Votto, the Canadian sensation.
The Canadian sensation.
The two-run jack to center, and they are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
Why'd you say that? Then look at me. Canadian thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try to lump you guys together. Jedmar Gomez, 21st game. And on to face Zach Cozart with a runner at first base.
Think about the at-bats, and Todd Helton immediately comes to mind about Jake Diekman. Todd Helton wanted no part of Jake Diekman a couple years ago. No part. And I don't see that from lefties this year. And you feel for him because he has the stuff. There's no doubt he has the stuff. A lefty that throws that hard with 2 strikeout pitches.
Well, he's allowed 8 career home runs overall, only 2 to left-handers, and the one coming tonight off the bat of Votto. But it's even beyond just the home runs, just the contact. 2 balls and no strikes to Zach Cozart.
And the walks don't help either. We know that.
Yep. Left side, here comes Franco charging, has it, flips, right past Howard. Look out, Billy Hatcher. Over to third base goes Jay Bruce. Thank goodness he had that helmet on. And the ability to tumble the way he tumbled.
He makes a nice play right here, gets rid of it quick. But the hat's getting out of the way. A big old grin on his face.
Oh, he's back at his feet, ready to go. And now Negron is up. He singled his last time up. Runners on first and third. And he hits this one over to third. Franco gets another chance. This time just gets Negron to finish up the top of the ninth inning. Everybody's still on their feet. The Phillies will have one last chance. It gets a little tougher because of the home run by Joey Votto. On Cole Hamels' performance tonight and what Mike Leake has been able to do. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. Well, it's 4-0 Reds on top. Leake has has faced 3 batters over the minimum, 2 walks and a single. 107 pitches, 9 strikeouts. He did have J.J. Hoover warming up behind him. And now Ben Revere will lead things off against Odubel Herrera. Revere 0 for his last 10. But Herrera just didn't seem like he had an idea of what to do against Mike Leake here tonight. First pitch is low, 1 ball, no strikes. Three career complete games. His last one coming earlier this year against the Cardinals, and Revere starts it off in the 9th inning with a single to right. And now Jeff Franco.
Which means Chapman gets up in the bullpen to start to get loose.
Yeah, just in case this gets into a save situation or just gets even a little dicey. Francoeur shows bunt, bunts at it. Not necessarily a bunter. And it's 0-1. There's Chapman. They may even just bring Chapman in because Utley and Howard are due up after Francoeur.
And he's at 110 pitches.
Yeah.
Got to be his last batter.
Well, and also this is Chapman's second time getting up and getting loose. So
that's a good point.
You got to bring him in, or else you're going to burn him for tomorrow.
Down the right field line. It's slicing foul. Francoeur will get his bat back. A bat that was filled with pine tar after last night's game. Jeff generally uses a little bit of pine tar, but Jonathan Papelbon loaded it up with pine tar when he was in the on-deck circle with it. Francoeur stays alive. Pap had Francoeur's bat and Galvis's helmet. Said he wore Galvis's helmet because he was the leading hitter on the team. So he wants to wear the leading hitter on the team's helmet. And he used Francoeur's bat because he wanted to show Frenchie what it was like to hit a home run.
And he was on deck because nobody told him he wasn't hitting?
He said nobody told him he wasn't going to hit, so I was going to go out on deck. I'm supposed to be out there.
Makes sense.
1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2. Toyota Major League scoreboard. Padres are shutting out the Mets 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Will Middlebrooks, he's had a pretty good start to the year. Middlebrooks has shown some power for the Padres. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Francoeur. Franco gets on, the tying run will be in the on-deck circle. And that would subsequently make it a save for Aroldis Chapman, a save opportunity. He's now tied his career high in pitches thrown.
He had just 71 starting the 6th inning. Really amassed a lot of pitches over the last couple.
And a line drive base hit to right field. It means that the tying run is in the on-deck circle. The ball booted by Bruce. And Revere goes to third. So that'll be an E9 to allow Revere to go to third. And that's going to be it for Mike Leake. So Aroldis Chapman's going to come on and try to preserve this game for the Cincinnati Reds. Stranger things have happened in these matchups between the Phillies and Reds. We'll see if something strange takes place again here in the bottom of the 9th inning when we return. Nationals in the finale of a 3-game series. All fans 14 and under receive the Fanatic alternate style jersey. Compliments of Pico. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Another great giveaway here at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies trail at 4-0. Boy, that home run by Votto is gigantic at this point, because now Aroldis Chapman comes in with a 4-0 lead, although he would have been in if it was a 2-0 ball game. Chase Utley's the batter. He's 0 for 2.
You know, we've seen a lot of guys over the last couple of years, a lot of guys that touch triple digits. But Chapman is the guy that has been able to sustain that throughout the course of his career. Yes, he's a monster of a man, but he works endlessly, keeps himself in great shape, and you see a couple 102s here.
There goes Franco. Ooh, man. How about a 98 up near the chin? Mariners lead off second and third now. Chase just mouthed something as he took a practice swing.
I'm watching these last 3 pitches from Chapman. All of his warm-up pitches were the exact same spot, hopping into left-handers.
Utley flips it out toward left center field. Hamilton tracks it down. Tagging from third is Revere. A run is in. It's a 4-1 ball game. An RBI and a sac fly for Utley. 23rd RBI of the season for Utley. Man, that speed really helped in that on that particular play.
Well, one, he got a tremendous jump. He's playing chase to pull a little bit. And to be able, like Ben said, to be able to outrun the ball earlier, tremendous speed.
Son of a gun. That'd have been nice.
Well, here's Howard. Howard is 0 for 3. There was some thought that they would make Chapman at one point a starter. Maybe eventually his stuff would translate as a starter, but man, he is flat out dominant as a closer.
Great take by Ryan. I tell you, you got to gear up for that 100-mile-an-hour fastball and not bite on that slider. That's some discipline right there by the big piece.
2 balls, 1 strike to Howard. Power on power.
Just got to try and get on top of that one.
Ooh. Right, Core at second base. 1 run is in here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ball 4. Howard is aboard. Somebody will probably come out and pinch run for him. Or she said maybe somebody would. You see 122 saves for Aroldis Chapman. That's tops among Cuban-born players. For Phil, Danny Baez is second with 114. Mike Leake pacing a little bit in the dugout. Matt, I erred when I said that somebody would run for Howard, and then I corrected it. Maybe if he gets in the scoring position, or is it not because he's not the tying run?
Yeah, his run doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. Franco takes low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Be interesting to see what happens if they have an opportunity with Darren Ruff if he'll pinch hit for Cody Ashing.
In the air to left center field. This one is going to tie the ball game up. Michael Franco. Second straight night. He's homered. It's a 4-4 game. Second straight night. He's tied it up. I think Aroldis Chapman thought the game was over. He was walking off the mound. Wow. That was a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, and Michael Franco turned on it.
What a time to give up your first home run of the year.
Always said there's been some crazy games between the Phillies and the Reds.
And he goes down and gets it. That ball cuts just a hair as it's getting to the batter's box. And Mike Kell did a good job of staying down on the baseball, not popping up, and hitting a missile out to left center. Yaka!
And Warren Epting and Pittman just won $100 thanks to Michael Franco and the McDonald's home run jackpot. Cody Ashe's the batter. But Ashe rips one foul. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Leake can only watch. Aroldis Chapman had not allowed a home run since May of last year. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cody in the dirt, 2-2.
I mean, you break down so far this inning. Good at bat by Ben Revere. Jeff Franco fouls off and gets a hit on his 10th pitch. Utley, very close to hitting the double. Ryan Howard with a great walk. And then a blast to left center.
Howard's walk is huge.
Huge. Ooh.
Well, he hit 100, but he didn't hit the strike zone. It's 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes now to Ashe. In the dirt, ball 4. Second walk issued by Chapman. And Freddie Galvis will bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jeff Pico will trot out to the mound and talk to Aroldis Chapman. The Phillies have scored 4 runs in this inning. 2 charged to Leake, 2 charged to Chapman, but he's essentially given them all up. And now Freddie Galvis, if you recall, homered against Aroldis Chapman. Look at this. I mean, this, he just went down and got it.
Foot down early, like Ben talked about earlier. Gets his foot down earlier. Full extension and absolutely crushes a home run to left.
You know what? It seems like he swings easier against the hard throwers and harder against the soft throwers. You would think it'd be the other way around for a younger kid. Like, he's throwing harder, I got to go harder.
Well, he has figured something out these last couple of days. You remember Galvis's home run against Chapman went right down the left field line. First pitch is fouled into the sweet level. Galvis is 0 for his last 20.
Billy Hamilton extremely shallow in center field. Cody Ashe makes sure he gets a good secondary lead here. If a ball does get in that gap, you can see Billy Hamilton right here. It's just not very deep in this ballpark. So we get a ball in O'Nally.
Could have challenged the speed of Hamilton. A 1 pitch coming to Freddie Galvis. Way outside. They throw behind Ashe. Well, here we go. This is when Galvis homered against Aroldis Chapman. It was after John Mayberry had homered against him, and he pulls it right down the left field line. Or I should say Eric Kratz. Now, this was the game winner. Took a little off. It's 96 and first strike. 1-2. J.J. Hoover throwing again in the pen. He's been up and down a couple times. loosened up his arm on a couple of those throws behind Cody Ashley, and now it's 2-2.
Say the pitch to Franco was 98. The exit speed was at 105. And it went 414 feet.
Out to center field, playable for Hamilton. Ashley goes halfway, heads on back to first, 2 outs. By the way, if that went 414, but his one last night went way farther than 418. I mean, that went onto the concourse down the left field line. I mean, this one went to left center. Here's Ruiz, the 8th man to bat in this inning. The Phils offense dormant for 8 innings. Came to life tonight in the 9th. Darren Ruff is on deck to pinch hit for Gomez.
Look back on the at-bat that Franco had, fouling off 5 pitches, working. You think, oh, he just hit a single. Well, that's how you get rallies going. Keep the train moving.
There goes Ashe, and the pitch is hit high in the air to left center field. Negron going back toward the track. He's got a beat on it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Carlos Ruiz just missed it, but the Phillies have tied it up here in the bottom of the 9th inning. So that means we're going extra innings because of Maikel Franco. He crushed this one well over 400 feet. It's a 3-run bomb. He's tied the game up for a 2nd consecutive night. The Phillies were down by 2. Maikel Franco hits this one 418. I think we were all impressed with that. Out onto the concourse. This was even more impressive here tonight.
It's 2 different pitches, but almost the exact same location. First one was a slider, a 2-1 pitch, and that was a fastball inside. Ben made a great point. Nice, easy swing, allowing Chapman to allow the power behind the swing. They're back-to-back huge hits.
Well, Franco takes his spot at third. Ben Revere out in center field. After pinch hitting for Odubel Herrera, Severino Gonzalez is running out to the bullpen as we speak as Jonathan Papelbon enters his 22nd game. 1-0, 1.29 ERA, trying to keep this at a 4-4 ball game. First batter he'll face is Barnhart. Brian Pena is out in the on-deck circle. Now he goes back to the dugout. 1 ball, no strikes to Barnhart. And it's Schumacher. Outside, 2-0. Phillies are 8-0-1 in the last, or 8-1-1 in the last 10 season series against the Reds. Part of that is their success here at home against them. Came from behind last night and have come from behind here tonight to tie it at 4. 3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4. So a base runner for the Reds. And Schumacher's going to go back to the dugout. And let's see who they decide to have hit. All right, so Michael Lorenzen, one of the pitchers for the Reds, will go up to try to sacrifice. Lorenzen, the rookie for Cincinnati. And he bunts in the air, foul. Lorenzen is scheduled to pitch on Saturday against San Diego.
It's probably the last thing he thought he'd be doing today. Bunting in the 10th off Papelbon.
Takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. And he bunts it back toward Papelbon. His play is to first. Boy, he's quick. They throw him out. Second sack of the year for him. And now the go-ahead run is up at second base. And Billy Hamilton is coming up. You got to be careful of the bunt here with Hamilton, of course. Hamilton is 0 for 3. Walked his first time up. Reached on an error his second time. Grounded out and struck out. Look at that. 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. You know, the 6-game homestand, the Reds hit .347 with runners in scoring position. Murph did that piece last night where overall they're at .202. Well, I don't think they're at 2-0-2 anymore. Let's dip it down even more. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hamilton. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hamilton.
And hopefully this leadoff walk doesn't come back to bite Paps and the Phils. Barnhart must be able to run pretty well, because I think they'd be pinch running here with a catcher at second base, that winning run out there. Still have Brian Pena on the bench. No, he's not running for him.
Out toward Utley, and he makes the catch. Well, there are 2 outs. And Brandon Phillips will be the batter. Phillips has 3 hits tonight. He's 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Looks like J.J. Hoover's throwing again in the bullpen, so it looks like he'll wind up pitching the bottom of the 10th inning. Bottom of the 10th will feature a pinch hitter for Jonathan Papelbon, and then the top of the order. Fly ball left field. Cody Ashe should have this one lined up. And the inning is over. Papelbon works around the leadoff walk, which means we'll go to the bottom of the 10th inning. The Phillies have a chance to win it, their final at bat for a second consecutive night. Of the Phils and their potential comeback against the Cincinnati Reds. Only on QR Auto Insurance presents Phillies postgame live. Michael Barkan will join Marlin for the postgame show. Bottom of the 10th inning, J.J. Hoover, 23rd ball game, 4-0, a 2.18 ERA. And he will face Darren Ruff to start things off, last night's hero. All right, Matt, what does J.J. Hoover?
Features 4 pitches, 92, 95 on a fastball, slider, change, and a curveball.
92, 95 fastball.
I think that's safe to say with every pitch now in Major League Baseball.
That's true.
They'll top out at 95, 96.
Darren Ruff got out into the on-deck circle before Papelbon could get a helmet and a bat, as he continues to lobby for an at-bat at some point. Ruff was last night's hero. Breaking ball, 0-1. You don't often see a relief pitcher have a repertoire of 4 pitches, particularly a guy that seems to be a late inning guy. out of play, and it's 0-2, quickly 0-2. Hoover has Matty Parr warming up behind him in the bullpen, a lefty. No balls, 2 strikes to Ruff. Well, it's been a strike all night. I'm not sure if it's a strike, but it's been a strike all night, and there's one away here in the 10th inning.
That's a good pitch. Not going to be able to do anything with it, but it's a good pitch.
That was a good pitch. Look at the replay. So one away. And here's Ben Revere, who singled and scored his last time, his only time up. And then an 0 for 10 slump for Revere. Luis Garcia in the bullpen. And another base hit for Ben Revere. Hamilton slipped down, but Revere holds up at first. And now Franco will come up. This combination got the rally started in the 9th inning.
Revere comes in the game in the 9th inning, has 2 of the Phillies' 5 hits.
Yeah. Crazy game.
Kind of interesting right here. Frenchie's a first pitch fastball swinger. Knowing that, it's Hoover going to throw him a curveball, and if that's the case, might be a good pitch to try to steal on.
Now he throws him a fastball when it's outside, 1-0. Hoover with a really interesting turnaround from last year to this year. Last year, as a relief pitcher, he was 1-10 in 54 games, had an ERA of 4.88. The year before had an ERA of 2.86, but still had 10 decisions. He was 5-5.
Good time to give him a first loss in the 2015 season.
How about that, though, out of the bullpen? 11 decisions, 1-10. And none of those games were a spot start.
Come on, Barnhart, it's not your first day.
One ball, 1 strike. Murph told that story before about Frank Coor's sore thumb that was hit the other day. Said it does not even come close to affecting him now. It did on Monday. It felt awful, he said. Off the end of the bat, and it's base hit. It's a center field. Revere will stop at second. The winning run is in scoring position for Chase Utley. Now, what do you do if you're the Reds? Is Matty Parr coming into this ball game?
Well, you would think he would. That's why he's warming up, and pretty sure he's going to.
Here comes Brian Price. Parra, the veteran lefty, is going to face the left-handed hitting Chase Utley here in the bottom of the 10th inning with the game tied at 4. So a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phils have the winning run at second base. Try to eke out another late victory. One man down. The Phillies and the Reds tied at 4. Chase Utley will face Manny Parra. Parra just his 10th ball game for Cincinnati. 0-1 with a 1.50 earned run average. Phillies have seen him before when he was pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. Chase Utley ready to go. Last time Utley picked up a walk-off was against the Miami Marlins. He knew it as soon as it left the bat. So did Hatcher. That was 2014. June 26th, and they mobbed him at home plate. He doesn't need to hit it out there tonight. He just needs to hit it into the outfield to give Ben Revere a chance to run. Phillies have 6 hits. 5 in the last 2 innings. His numbers against Parra, 4 for 11. The runners take their lead at first and second. 1 out, bottom of the 10th inning. Phillies trailed at 4-0 going into the bottom of the 9th inning. After the Reds on a 2-run home run by Joey Votto cushioned their lead in the top of the 9th. And the Phillies scored 4 times. Now trying to win it. The first pitch to Utley. Outside, 1-0. Two balls and no strikes to Chase.
Leave him standing.
Two balls, no strikes to Chase with runners on first and second. And he chops it foul. It's 2-1. Parra spent about a month on the disabled list with a neck strain. This is his 292nd career appearance in the big leagues. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Chase Utley with runners on first and second. Inside 3-1. What do you got here, hitters? 3 balls, 1 strike, winning run at second base.
You can't get away from your game plan. Chase has been swinging the bat well. How's he been doing that? He's been staying up the middle, getting hits up the middle. He gets a cookie. He's been pulling the ball.
Votto on the edge of the outfield grass. The 3-1 pitch to Utley. And now it's 3-2.
See, that's having a game plan. Just because you're in a hitter's count 3-1 game on line doesn't mean you have to swing. We saw Odubel Herrera the other day get a 3-1 count, swinging a pitch over his head. Chase knows that that's not the pitch that he can do damage with. So he took it.
They've run the count full, 3-2. And the pitch to Utley. Fouls it away. Now that was a pitch he could do damage with right there. He got a piece of it.
Well, and it's a pitch that he could do damage with. It's a fastball that came back out over the plate, but he took something off the swing a little bit to try to put the ball in play.
Trailing after 8 innings, the Phillies are 0-29 this year, trying to change that 0 to a 1. The 3-2 pitch to Utley. A chopper foul. And we'll do it again. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat. And Barnhart wants to have a discussion with Manny Parra. The winning run is at second base for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 10th inning. And the 3-2 pitch to Utley. The ground ball first base side, another foul ball. Ben Revere represents the winning run going back to second.
This will be the ninth pitch of the at bat. You know the arm slot. You know how the ball comes out. You've seen all the pitches. Just got to make sure it's in your zone.
The runners take their lead. Utley's ready. So is Parra. And he pulls it towards second. Phillips has got it. There's one. And they won't turn the double play. Utley was able to stretch it. And Revere, the winning run, goes to third. 4-6 on the putout at second base. And now it's left to Ryan Howard. After a 9-pitch at bat. August 10, 2014 against the Mets. Ryan Howard pulls this one against Henry Mejia down the right field line for a walk-off victory. Marlon Byrd scores. And the celebration, it's tough to bring that man down. Revere can get a good walking lead off third if there's a wild pitch. Utley goes, and the pitch is pulled out toward right field. Jay Bruce is there. Lights aren't a problem. And he makes the catch, and we're going to the 11th inning. So Manny Parra was able to get the 2 left-handers here in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Phillies lead 2 on to the 11th in a 4-4 ball game. Well, back here at Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies and the Reds go to the top of the 11th inning. You saw the scoring by Cincinnati, the 2-run home run by Votto in the top of the 9th inning. But then Michael Franco with the score 4-1 ties it with a 3-run home run against Aroldis Chapman. So here we are, top of the 11th. Luis Garcia enters the ball game, 27th game for Garcia. On the relief of Jonathan Papelbon. Darren Ruff, who pinch hit to start the bottom of the 10th, stays in the game to play first base. So Ryan Howard's night is done. The Phillies are left with Andres Blanco and Cameron Rupp. That's it off their bench. And Garcia will have Votto, Frazier, and Bruce for the Reds. Joey Votto 2 extra base hits in tonight's game. Votto doubled in the first inning and hit that home run in the 9th inning, the 2-run shot that seemingly gave the Reds a comfortable 4-0 lead. But Franco was able to better Votto in the bottom of the 9th inning with a 3-run home run. There's a base hit down the left field line. It's going to go to the corner. And Votto's on his way to second, and he'll get there with a stand-up double, his second double of the night. Oh, 11 doubles on the season now for Votto. 22 extra base hits.
See, Chooch wants that ball down in the zone. It's a fastball up in the zone. But it does a nice job hitting the ball down the left field line for a stand-up double.
He looks pretty close to being back to the Votto that we remember. I know it's only 2 games, but he's in tremendous shape. It's only his second 3-hit game of the year. It's his 80th of his career. So here's Frazier, 0 for 10 in the series. And he fights off the first pitch foul. Of course. It was really only a matter of time before she walked away with something other than the hot dog costume. To the left side, Galvis charges, has it, throws on the run in time, 1 away. Frazier now 0 for 11 in the series.
Another good play by Freddie there, attacking this baseball. Good base running by Votto. Not to try and advance to third base, but Freddie coming hard through that baseball and keeping his momentum going towards the bag.
Carlos Ruiz with a brief meeting with Garcia about Jay Bruce, who's walked twice tonight. He's 0 for 3. Breaking ball, and I don't know where that missed, but it's 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos caught it inside, but it looked like it crossed over the plate. And that one was inside. So 2-0. And now they're going to put him on. So that'll be the 3rd walk of the night, and Zach Cozart is due up. Bob McClure now heading out to the mound to talk to Luis Garcia. It's all right. So the double play is in order. Cozart's a tough guy to double because he does run pretty well, but you do have the double play in order. Cozart tonight is flied out, popped out, struck out, popped out to short, reached on an error by Franco. That was in the 9th inning. Phillies are down to Araujo, Justin DeFreitas, and Severino Gonzalez in their bullpen. He'll be the long guy. So McClure back to the dugout. Garcia back to work. Cozart's ready. Phillies a double play depth. Good pitch. 0-1. Two, foul ball.
Another good slider there. I was getting that arm out in front of him. We saw him over the weekend really jerking that slider, pulling it down in the dirt and not making the adjustment. Looks like he's made the adjustment now.
Look at those numbers. Do you guys see those numbers? 1 for 18 for the Reds with runners in scoring position. Sometimes you watch Garcia pitch and you wonder how the heck is his earned run average 4.26, because he's got that kind of stuff. I guess you could say that though about a handful of pitchers, including Diekman. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Zach Cozart. Chopper right side. Utley will get to it. They'll get one at first. And there are 2 down. Runners move up to second and third. And I think Schumacher's going to pinch hit for Negron. Yep, that's what the plan is. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Will Venable, who's been hot for the Padres, has helped them to a 4-0 lead over the New York Mets. Games at the top of the 5th. Boy, the National League East. I know that the Nationals and the Mets are the 2 best teams right now, but you know the Braves are only 3 out. Miami's 7.5 out. I mean, it's a wide open division, even though you know talent is on the side of the Nationals and the Mets. I think the Braves are right now a great story.
They are,
even though they lost to the Diamondbacks today. Schumacher takes inside. Good play by Ruiz. 1 ball, no strikes.
Have to be on your toes here, Tom.
That was meant for me, Matt. You do not have to be on your toes. One ball and no strikes to Schumacher, hitting .233. That's in there. 1-1. 96 on the fastball. Schumacher looked like he was taking a pitch there. Better check his knuckles there. 97 on a fastball. $21,000 plus on hand here tonight. Runners lead off second and third. The 1-2 pitch coming to Schumacher. Swing and a miss. He got it with a slider. And some emotion from Luis Garcia hopping off the mound. Side is retired. No runs. 1 hit. 2 men left for the Reds. The Phils with another chance to win it in their half of the 11th inning. Garcia got into a little bit of trouble, but then went to the slider to get out of trouble and take us to the bottom of the 11th. Barring anything unforeseen, tomorrow's starting pitchers for the Reds and the Phils will be Anthony DeSclafani for Cincinnati and Aaron Harang for the Phillies. Aaron getting set to make his 12th start of the season. A 2.02 ERA. On to the bottom of the 11th inning. And Ryan Matthews will take over on the mound for the Reds. 2.25 ERA for Matthews. Schumacher will remain in the game now in left field for Cincinnati. And here comes Maikel Franco. Last night his home run went .418. Tonight his home run estimated at .414. Tomorrow we're going to take a field trip out to the left field corner. We're going to measure his home run from yesterday.
I'm your Huckleberry.
In a 4-4 game, the first pitch from Matthews is cracked over to third, scooped up by Frazier. And on one pitch, one away. And now Cody Ashley. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Matthews acquired off waivers by the Reds from the Washington Nationals. He'll be followed by Freddie Galvis. Ashley will be. With a count, 2 balls and no strikes, 1 man down. And he's taken all the way. Takes one at the knees. It's 2-1. The other way, it's a fair ball down the left field line. Ashley around first, heading to second. He's going to get there. That's a 7-game hitting streak, and hit number 7 couldn't have come at a better time for Cody Ashley. The winning run for the 2nd straight inning is in scoring position. And Freddie Galvis will be the hitter. Now, Galvis, we watch this one as 0 for his last 21.
Well, let's see if it'll hurt the Reds again. Once again, not guarding the line to block for doubles. A lot of teams do, some teams don't. I'm a firm believer that your corner guys should be guarding the line.
Even lefty?
Absolutely.
Well, here's Galvis with Ashley leading off second base. 4-4 here, bottom of the 11th. And he takes low, 1-0.
Because the worst case scenario, if the third baseman's guarding the line, the ball hits your left, it's going to be a single. So what? Well, we saw Herrera's hit last night for double down the line. Now Cody's double down the line.
Cody needs to get a good secondary lead. The 1-0 is pulled toward the right side. Votto's got it. And the flip is off the glove. Coming home is Ashe. The Phillies are going to win the ball game. Down 4-0 at one point.